KST Radio Network, and you are here tuned in to Cammie Grayson and the Dream Team. I'm Cammie Grayson. Here's the Dream Team. We got Mr. Foster here.
Hello, Ron Foster.
We got Miss Aisha there.
Hello,
And
hello.
we got no other than JBZ in the house.
What's up, family?
Hey. So now our special guest, I'm so proud. I don't know if he's my brother or my son. I don't know. I love him anyway. He's family. So this is Mr. Curtis Bowmen. Curtis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Cammie. Thank you, Brother Foster. How y'all doing today?
Well, good, good. Welcome to SKST and our little matchbox.
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
It's got a lot of character. I like the fact that we're nice up close and personal. Oh, yeah. You know, all this COVID stuff going on. We ain't social distancing. We family. So don't judge us now.
That's right. So, well, Mr. Curtis is here to talk to us about IHERO. Y'all know I keep saying IHERO. So I don't know where I'm gonna get my card to say IHERO. But right now we're gonna embrace my brother's school here, IHERO. Okay, so we're gonna make it happen. Tell us about IHERO and how it got started.
Okay, so IHERO is an economic ecosystem. It's a community. We have a lot of different bells and whistles, a lot of different tools, a lot of stuff that's a lot that's rolling out. This is a ground floor opportunity. However, it is something that, like most of us, 2020 kind of shook some things up. I don't know, for some of the folks at home, my job wasn't considered essential. And so I, have a certain lifestyle that I had become accustomed to in a short amount of time that was threatened. And in the midst of that, I wanted to figure out, well, what could I do to not only change what I was facing and the fear and the anxiety that I was having, being a husband and a father and a family person. I have my wife and I, we're like the matriarchs in the family. So we support not just our intermediate household, but we have other households that we help take care of and support and send money to. And all that was being threatened with the pandemic, with, what was called coronavirus, now called COVID-19. And so my background is, I am a media person by trade. I am a developer, coder, graphic designer. And so I had kind of put that skill set on the shelf a little bit and had gotten into the sales arena. And so my life had taken a turn that I was talking to you guys about a little while ago. And I found myself as an entrepreneur facing homelessness. And so when that happened, my wife was like, look, I need you to get a job. And unfortunately, I'm somebody that since college, my resume was never built with working for anybody else. My resume was always entrepreneurial efforts and different businesses that I had run and owned. And, had a lot of great successes, but this was at a point in my life where things were looking kind of bleak. And so I found myself, calling putting in that Mayday call to your mom saying, hey, Mom, I need some help. My mother said, well, what kind of help you need? I said, well, Mom, is my room still open? And Mom was like, wait, what? I said, yeah, it's a little rocky right now. And, I took the BMW I was driving all over town and kind of put that in the backyard and kind of hid it because I couldn't afford to keep it, but I didn't want to let it go. Right, and so, I knew the bank wanted it and I didn't want them to have it. So this just kind of give you an idea of how rocky things had gotten. Right. And so at that stage, my wife said, look, I need you to get a job. And I said, babe, I don't know about this whole job thing because, I don't know how to do that. I know how to be an entrepreneur. I know how to, get up early and work late and not take breaks. But this whole confined to a job, she said, well, honey, I don't want you to be homeless and divorced. So there we go. I'm going to need you to figure that out. Put your little ego aside. And I said, well, I'm listening. And so, there's these infamous words in a marriage that's very pivotal for those folks out, at home. There's two words that you should learn to use a lot as a husband. That's yes, dear. So, using yes, dear. Oh, yes. My wife had told me about this location, which happens to be right up the street from here. And I knew nothing about this industry. I knew nothing. When I say knew nothing, I was green completely. And so she says, look, call this guy. She gives me this number, and the guy is, dressed like you, real debonair, looked like his suit was made on you, like it's a uniform. He had the bald head, but he wasn't caramel like my brother Foster. He was a dark mocha, right? Okay. He had that whole deep voice thing. I'm like Kevin Hart. I got all trouble. It's no bass over here. So you know what I'm saying? I got all this high pitched stuff. So, but his name was Eric Dunstan, and so I go across the street from here, directly on the ocean front, and I go in this building and I said, hey guys, I'm looking for a guy named Eric Dunstan. And they said, oh, he was on the third floor at the elevator. I said, okay, cool. And I go to the third floor, I come off the elevator and I come out, And I'm looking around and I see his name on his office door. So I look in and he's talking to a family and they're laughing and joking, having a good old time. And then finally, about minutes pass, felt like forever. He walks his family to the elevator. They shake hands, they hug, and they leave. And then he sees me and he says, "Hey, you're Curtis." I said, "Hey, yeah." He says, "All right, come on back." So I go and I sit down, and the brother says, "Well, what do you do? Tell me about yourself." So I'm giving him my little 30-second pitch, and I've done radio and I've done nightlife and I've owned businesses and media companies and I've worked with all these different celebrities, and I give him this whole thing. He says, "Man, that doesn't matter." Okay, so my resume don't matter. I said, well, what does matter?
Yeah.
He says, "Well, sir, do you like people?" And I said, "Sure, I like people. Yeah, I like people. I'm a people person." He says, "Well, no. Do you love people?" Wait a minute, nobody ever asked me that. Kind of weirdo stuff you got going on around here. Mr. Deep Voice, do I love people? I feel like I'm about to get casting couches. I'm like, wait a minute. And he says, "Well, more importantly, can you talk to people?" I said, "I got that part. I can do that. Listen, bro, I won radio. I've done this and this and this." He says, "Oh, okay. Well, you seem like a really sharp young man." But he was so debonair. He had this deep voice, looked real good, like Fawcett, bald head, got the beard. And I said, "Sir,
Bucket every morning.
I said, how do you know Mary?" Because I'm talking about my wife here. And I've never heard this dude.
And he's looking good. And
he kind of leans back like this, pulls his leg over. He goes, "Well, there was this amazing time that we had in the Caribbean. And then there was this one time in Amsterdam that was just, I don't remember much because I was smoking and I was high. And there was one time in Cabo Azul in Mexico, and I'm going, whoa. Time out. Flag on the play. Excuse me. I took Mary to Williamsburg to the outlets. I took her to my family reunion. Won't much to talk about. And I took her to this Raggedy Beach called Virginia Beach. Excuse me, who are you again, player? Like, hold up. I'm trying to ready to roll my sleeves up, right? And he kind of sees my demeanor changes. And he goes, whoa, slow down, son. I'm like, no, you're getting the wrong idea. He says, Mary and my son were high school sweethearts. So as we traveled and I was in this industry, I took Mary all over the world because she was a part of our family. She's like a daughter of mine. However, she got a job at some, nightclub restaurant. And my son, he's a little hard to deal with. So she met some other guy, ran off and got married. How do you know her?
So he.
Oh man, the setup. I got no, I didn't get any insight as to what was going on. So, needless to say, I said, "Yeah, man, she does my nails, as you can see. Nice to meet you." And I took off, and then I get a phone call later, and I was offered the job. And so I get this job, and I know nothing about this industry. High pressure sales, and then they call me after hiring me. They say, "Hey, you're going to work out of our Williamsburg location." Now, for the folks at home that don't recognize, Williamsburg is an hour and 15 minutes away from where we're sitting at right now, and I live 16 minutes from where we are. So that was kind of traumatic, especially now that my car is kind of parked. I have no transportation. My wife is doing all the heavy lifting in terms of our finances. She's paying all the bills, and I'm back at home at my mom's house, and I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna make this work because I can't even raise my voice anymore. My wife paying all the bills, and we in my mom's house, so everybody running the show but me. Okay, so needless to say, the universe, God, whatever y'all believe in, was definitely on my side, and so being obedient to what my wife wanted me to do. Not throwing in a towel because she said, "This is where I gotta work." I said, "Okay, I'm just going to." There's something about me being here that she sees, and I'm gonna listen to her because I've always done it my way. And we plowed around and we've been highly successful. I made a ton of money, but prior to this, I partnered with someone that she asked me not to, and it cost me a fortune because that person embezzled a small fortune from me, and that's what sent me down this dark path. So, needless to say, now that I am listening to my wife, I'm like, okay, well, how am I gonna get to work? And so I order a Lyft one day, and the Lyft pulls up, and I get in the back seat of the car, and the guy's like, "Man, what's up, dude? You dress kind of fly," and da da da. And I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm on my way to work." He says, "Well, where exactly are we going?" I said, I'm going to Williamsburg. He said, because a lot of times with those apps, they don't tell you how long or where your destination is. They just, do you want to pick this rider up? And then once you get the ride in the car, that's when they figure out where they're going.
Oh, yeah.
So that way they can't kind of cherry pick rides and stuff like that. So he's like, well, okay, cool. Because in his mind, that's a lot of money. That's a long trip.
Long haul.
So en route, we become so cool. And he's asking me about my life and what I do and so forth. And so by the time we get to my destination, he says, look, are you gonna need a ride home? I said, yeah, sure. Cause this is almost a $50 ride. I told y'all I ain't got $50 ride money.
Right.
So he says, I tell you what, I'll do some driving around in the area. And if I stay on this side, I'll just wait around till it's time for you to get off and just here's my personal number, text me and I'll get you back. And I'm like, Lord, thank you. So I go to my training class and they're bombarding me with all this information I'd never heard. They're talking about vacations and locations and travel and destinations. And I'm like, oh my God, this is definitely not what I'm used to. I'm used to Pharrell and the Clips and Missy Elliott and so forth. This is foreign to me. My father was military. Vacation for us was relocation. It was not vacation. It was, hey, you got orders and you're transferring from point A to point B. So needless to say, I get off a little early. I text him. He's like, hey, man, I'm in the parking lot waiting for you. Oh, wow. So I go to the parking lot and I said, dude, well, how long you been here? He said, I've been here about 2 hours. I got a couple rides and I decided, you know what, I didn't want to, have you waiting. So I came back. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Yeah. Like, what in the world? So he brings me back and he doesn't even put on the app. So I just pay him a couple extra dollars out of my pocket, which of course I had to run and get from my wife because again, I ain't had no money. So I go see my wife, hey honey, can you give me a couple dollars to get a guy? She's like, well, how much is it? Because you just came from Williamsburg. I'm like, well, whatever you can. And so she gave me like $20 and he was ecstatic. Like, thanks, bro. I'll see you tomorrow. I said, hold up. Right. I can't really afford. He said, man, don't worry about it. This is when you get your paycheck. I'll get you to work. I'll pick you home. And so now I got a ride.
He's out there driving anyway.
Well, yeah, but that's a different type
God.
Of absolutely.
That's God.
So needless to say, I get back and forth to work. I'm there before everyone is there. I have no issues arriving on time to the point where the site manager comes to me one day. He's like, man, how do you beat me to work every day? I don't even live in that city. I'm 7 cities away and I'm beating my site manager to work. So that's a good look, even though I don't know anything about what's going on. So I get out of training and finally I end up talking my friend into getting a job there. So that way he had a reason to go and not just pay, my driver. So he ends up in the next training class. Yeah. So now we spend the next 5 months in this company in Williamsburg, working for a multinational company. They've got offices all over the planet. And I'm not making any money because the way they pay, it's a commission-based job. I'm making $7.25 an hour because in Virginia, the minimum wage is very, very low. And but I'm learning. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. And I'm watching people that in the same industry are making, 20, 30, 40 grand a month. Some make way more than that. It just depends. So in my mind, it's like my wife didn't send me here for no reason. I know she didn't send me in here for the $7.25 an hour. So I got to figure it out. And as long as I'm going, I'm getting dressed every day. She's proud of me and go get them, baby. Yeah. So I spend 5 months. I don't make $1 other than my minimum wage. I don't get a sale, nothing. Finally, the company allows me to transfer and relocate to here in Virginia Beach. I get here in Virginia Beach, and again, I've got my driver, but my commute is a whole lot shorter. And by this point, my buddy hadn't really made any money, so he ended up leaving the company. So when that happens, he's now driving Uber again and doing his thing, and now I'm here. So I'm excited. It's like a pay raise for me because now I got a shorter commute. So that means I don't have to pay him so much. And I got a couple dollars I can, I'm going to make this $7.25 stretch, right? So I get here, and as a new recruit, they had hired my manager was a sales trainer. And she's been a sales trainer her whole career. She's been 20 years in the business. Knows everything about every type of way to sell a person anything. I'm talking persuasion on steroids, from hypnosis to neurolinguistic programming, NLP. I'm talking this woman would sit here and literally have you coming out your shoes, your blouse, and your bracelet if she asked you to. Oh, wow. She's that, it's serious business. But she was someone that also was upset because the company, when they recruited her, didn't have an opening for a training position. Okay. So they made her a manager, which is why she ended up being my manager, and I was her only rep. So now, which was, excuse my French, hell for me, because in my mind, she was micromanaging me beyond belief. I'm talking, I was her sole responsibility. She had no family in the market. She knew no one here. So from about 6 o'clock, she was calling my phone. We had to be in a morning meeting at 8 a.m. She was calling me at 6. Curt, listen to this on your way to work. Curt, study this when you get here. Meet me after the meeting. And I'm talking, I was at the bottom of the company's list because being in Williamsburg, being unsuccessful there, I didn't have any volume, any numbers. Exactly. So when they transferred me with no numbers, and they've got a fresh group of people that are automatically going to be higher on the list. So it's like 50 employees. Yeah, it's 50 employees. I'm number 51 in terms of my ability to actually do my job. Okay. So I would come to work to not even do my job. I wouldn't get a presentation. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just be there on the clock. Right. So she took all of that time to just reverse engineer my thought process, my mindset. Okay. And so one day she came to me and she said, hey, Curt, what do you do? And I said, I sell timeshare. She said, oh, okay. So, Brian, what do you do? And Brian goes, well, noticing that she didn't like my response, he goes, well, I kind of. And she went to the young lady, Brandy, who had been there a little while and was successful. She said, Brandy, what do you do? And Brandy goes, well, I'm a vacation counselor. And she said, Eureka. And she turned back to me. She said, Curtis, see, you've got all the right stuff. You got the story, you got the history, you got the past, you got experience, you got charisma, you got drive, and more importantly, you got a good look and you know how to put new clothes on, but you're never gonna be successful here anyway. I said, why? She says, because you have not become what you do. When what you do becomes who you are and they're synonymous, that's when you'll be successful. She said, there's a disconnect in you somewhere where you're not totally dialed into this. You don't either believe in it, you don't believe in the product, you don't believe in what you're doing, but there's a disconnect that has nothing to do with what you know. It's something in you. And that messed me up. I'm talking, listen, for the rest of the day, it was like she smacked me upside my head. And so now I'm trying to figure out, and she was right. I didn't believe in the product. I didn't believe in our interest rates. I didn't believe in, I'm going to work every day. I'm hearing these commercials where lawyers are saying, hey, man, if you bought a timeshare, I'll help you get out of it. So there's a problem in me with what I'm doing. So needless to say, I spent the rest of the day kind of off to myself. And then I get off work and I call my wife. I say, hey, honey, what you looking like? She says, well, I'm swamped. I got 2 girls waiting, for me to do their nails. I said, okay, well, I'll just catch a lift. Because by this point, we got a little car. And she could come and get me if I had the time. So I order a lift. And this is May 17th or so of 2018. And the truck pulls up, I hop in the back seat like you're supposed to, the commonality of getting in these vehicles. I get in the back seat and the guy goes, whoa, wait, buddy, what do you do? Mind you, he's Puerto Rican. Okay, understand? Wait. He's Puerto Rican from Surrey. Okay, I don't know how that happens, but he's full-fledged Puerto Rican. But he's country as a Louisiana church mouse. Like I'm talking, he's country. Wow. And I said, and before I could answer, my manager Tammy, her words rung out of my head, and I said, I'm a vacation counselor. He goes, well, what's that? It's 18 minutes to my doorstep from here. By the time we get to my doorstep, he says, man, I need me one of those. That's exactly what I need. Can I get your number? Now, of course, when people say that, you give them your number, but you don't expect them to call you, especially for what I'm offering, right? Exactly. So I give my contact. Don't think anything about it. The next morning, he calls me bright and early. I'm off. I literally just hung up with Tammy because she called me at 6, like clockwork. By 6:15, this guy's calling my phone. He says, hey, buddy, what's going on? Is this Curtis? I said, yeah, who's this? This is Lawrence. Lawrence? I don't know any Lawrences. Your Lyft driver from yesterday, Lawrence. He says, buddy, I got a level with you. I knew exactly what you did. I knew exactly what you had. Matter of fact, I got to be honest. He said, I own this place called Kings Creek, and I want to get out of it. Can you help me? I said, oh. I said, well, if your property qualifies, we can take it in, give you points instead of what we offer, blah, blah, blah. Because, I've been in training the whole time. Right. So he says, man, I would think the world of you could do that because I don't want to just have to go to this one place all the time. I'm tired of it. My kids are tired of it. I said, well, let me get to work to find out what I could do. He said, no, I'm coming to get you. I'll get you to work. Oh, wow. Okay. Right. He picks me up, gets me to work. He says, find out what you can find out. Let me know when you get off. I said, okay. So I find out that we have a new program coming out. I found out that his property did qualify, and I found out that I could help him. And as a matter of fact, I could help him for less than what he spent where he was.
Oh, that's even better.
So now I explained that to him. He says, well, when can I come in? Now, me wanting to be this guy's friend, I want him to come in when the new product comes out. Well, they tell me it's coming out Memorial Day weekend. Well, Memorial Day weekend comes and goes. It has not come out yet. The company held the product back and didn't put it out yet. But mind you, I've talked to this man every single day.
Got it.
Every single day. So he's invited me over to his kid's graduation. I've been to a cookout at his house. He lives on the water. He's got money. He's, and I'm thinking, why is this brother driving Lyft? He lives in this palatial house and he's got this boat and we on the water and the water, he's got a pool. I'm trying to, it's not making sense to me. So we're sitting out there on his dock and I asked him, I said, man, why are you driving Lyft? He says, well, can I be honest with you? I said, sure. I said, I'm dying. I said, oh, wait, you're my friend. Hold up, wait. I can't put it together.
Right.
He said, no, don't worry, Curt. I'm cool. I've reconciled this thing. He says, I've got a real severe heart condition. I don't have a lot of time left. And, my life has been an amazing life where, I've retired from the military. I served my country in multiple wars. I've worked as a government contractor. I made a ton of money working for Blackwater as one of those mercenary type guys. He said, but with all that stress, it was too much for my heart. He said, the things that I've seen and the things that I've endured were just too much. And I've made a great living. He says, financially, I'm in a great space. My family's going to be well taken care of when I'm gone. He says, what I do with Lyft and Uber is just to have the extra. He says, I take everything I make from Uber Lyft and I put that in the stock market and I day trade with it. So I'll take a few trips in the morning, a few in the afternoon, and in the middle of the day, I'm day trading. Once the market's closed, I'm back riding to make more money, but I don't want to touch any of what I put aside. And I'm going, wow. He says, the reason I bought this from you was because I need to set up my family. I want all of them to have a vacation property of some sort. So when I'm no longer here, that's covered. And my estate will cover the maintenance costs so they can travel when they travel, enjoy what they do. And then because of this is how we've always done, they'll remember me when they take these trips. Right. And I'm going, whoa, talk about a buying motive. Right. So needless to say, this is now my friend. So Memorial Day comes and goes. We don't have the product roll out. So the 31st of May, that night, Thursday, 2018, he calls my phone. It's about 9 o'clock. He says, Curt, man, I'm getting impatient. You my friend. I know you mean well. I know you're trying to do right by me, but I can't wait no longer. I got to come buy something from you and your company tomorrow. I don't care if it's not the new product. I'm coming there tomorrow and I'm buying from somebody. And I want that somebody to be you. But hey, if you don't want to take my money, one of the fellas will. I said, well, all right. He said, so can I see you in the morning? I said, sure. He said, can I pick you up? I said, absolutely. He came and got me. We drove straight up the interstate, straight right across the street from here, right on Atlantic, on literally 1 block over from where we are. Wow. And I walked him in, and I went in my morning meeting. I said, hey, guys, before we get started, can I get this fella a lead number and an ID for his tour? He said, whoa, who is this fella? And do we got to give him anything? Like, we ain't scheduled to be here? No, understand. He's purchasing, and I just need the numbers so I can create an account so I can get this process started. They said, well, does he need to see the model? Y'all going to take him across? I said, no. He's buying. This is the paperwork that I need. This is how much he's going to spend, and this is the deposit he's going to put down. And they're going,
they can't believe that.
Wait a minute. This is not how this works. Exactly. So, needless to say, 45 minutes he was out the door. That's unheard of. Most people, they've been on a timeshare presentation. You're in there for hours. And if don't like it because they're going to have you in there for many more hours. So, in 45 minutes, he was out the door with a deed, with his trust, with all his stuff, his tablet, everything. And then he looked at me and says, Curtis, I so appreciate you. I'll be back in 2 weeks to buy another.
Oh, wow.
I said, excuse me? Needless to say, this gentleman bought 5 or 6 specifically from me and upgraded 3 of the ones he bought with me. So that one relationship, me talking to this Lyft driver, probably made me, if I put it all together in my mind, him alone, I probably made about $32,000 or $33,000 off of him and his relationship in a 6-month period. Wow. So that was the catalyst, because what ended up happening was, remember, I was at the bottom of the list. I came in on a Friday, June 1st, and I sold him, which was my first sale in the building and really my first sale in the industry.
Right.
And that gave me what was called a point shot. So a point shot means if you sell something today, you're going out tomorrow.
Right.
So when I went out the very next day, which was a Saturday, I got my second sale. Now, on Sunday, they changed the rotor up to reflect the numbers of the previous week. So if you're at the bottom and you work your way up based on the numbers, they'll average it all out, and whoever's at the top will go out, and so forth and so on. Well, I go from the very bottom spot to the number one spot because I have 100% close. I've only had one qualified tour, and I've got 2 deals. So I've got 150% as far as the numbers look. So now I go from here to here.
Wow.
So for that week, awesome. I'm going out every day, multiple times a day. So I write the next 11 days straight consecutively. Deal, 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 deal. Now they're looking at me like I'm a unicorn.
Right.
Where does this guy come from? Who is he? What's going on? And so they give me a promotion, they give me a raise, they start, and my life changes. And so my first bonus check, which was that July, I think I was like the 16th or 17th when I got my first check with commission and bonus, and that check was $27,000.
Wow.
And that was after Uncle Sam got his cut. That was after taxes.
Yeah.
And that literally reshaped my confidence in myself. Thanks to Tammy, if you're out there listening, because I owe a lot to her because she took the time to invest in what she saw. She planted a lot of seeds in me that have grown and sprouted, which were the combination of where IHERO came from. Because going through that struggle and going through that time in my life, I was inspired to never be back in that position, but more so help others. So in my job, I became a sales trainer. And then as a trainer, I became a closer. So I would do training when we had training classes, and then I would be a closer, meaning I would be the guy to come out and help the reps close the deal. They got a little bit of interest. I'm gonna come in and make it a deal. I'm gonna come pull a credit card. And so for the next, 2.5 years, the company just elevated me. And so made a lot of money, but then pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, it was okay, guys, we want y'all to figure out how to, my job you can't do from home. So they said, look, guys, we're going to send everybody. They made a group conversation. We had the entire company. It was probably about 4,000 people on one call. And they said, look, guys, we love y'all, but we're going to have to shut down. So they furloughed everybody. But then they called me 10 minutes later and said, okay, that was the call for everyone else. Your black behind gonna still come to work. And we need you to run 2 departments, be a rep and a manager and a closer. And so literally I had, 10 hats.
Got it.
And I was up for it, but then that only lasted maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And then the governor's order where the governor came out and shut everything down. So when the governor shut it all down, our resorts were able to stay open because resorts are considered essential, but the sales process wasn't. Yeah. So now I'm sitting at home going, okay, what am I gonna do? And I was literally praying for a buddy of mine who's also my business partner, who's a co-founder of IHERO. He was going through this rough patch where his wife is a doctor. They live in Switzerland, and she was doing a lot of the heavy lifting in their life, which I could relate to because of my experience with what Mary and I went through. And so what ended up happening was I was on Skype with him, because we do a lot of our work together on Skype, and we weren't really working on IHERO. We were just communicating because this is one of my close friends. And I literally, when I got into this industry, it took a lot of the time away from when I used to build sites and apps and things for other people with him. So a lot of his income kind of went down because I was focused on another scenario. Well, when I got into timeshare, I would this is my boy, he's my partner, I'm gonna give him money. But me giving him money isn't the same as him earning money. Exactly. So she's looking at it like, well, you a grown man. And I understand that's your partner, but why is he, you see what I'm saying? And what happens if and why am I making more? Because I'm not giving him what she's making as a doctor. They're in Switzerland. Like, you understand what a doctor, like, they talk about it here in America, but he's in a upper European country. Different ball game, different quality of life. He's got a mountain as his backdrop. Like, it's crazy. So, needless to say, they were having some rocky conversations, and I caught wind of it on Skype, but my camera was off, so she didn't know I was hearing it. And she was, I'm putting my foot down, I want to leave, and I'm like, whoa, they've been together for years, but they've been together longer than me and mine. So I know this is going to impact him in a whole other way. Yeah. So I get off of the Skype because I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want him to even know I'm hearing all this, but I know he knew. And I hop in the shower. I start praying. And I'm praying on his behalf. Now, mind you, I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm a Christian or this or that, but I was praying. Right. In the midst of this prayer, I'm literally immersed underwater. I'm, in my birthday suit, and I'm praying. And in this prayer, the entire IHERO concept came to me in this prayer. That's going to sound weird and bizarre and freaky and all this stuff, but literally, I can only tell you what happened. As I'm praying, I'm seeing the code. I'm a developer. I'm seeing the concept. I'm seeing the slogan. I'm seeing the logo. It's like it was given to me.
Okay, Neo.
I'm being honest with you. So it freaks me out. So I get out of the shower. Now, mind you, I'm not somebody, my grandfather was a pastor. I've grown up in the church. I was going to be a pastor at one point. I kind of steered away from it, got into the secular world, as my mom and my grandparents would say, and, that kind of thing. And then, of course, I managed artists and so forth and so on. So I wasn't regularly going to church, but I knew in my roots, if I'm going through something on an emotional level, I need to connect spiritually to a higher source. Exactly. So when I'm in the shower, I'm praying, and this whole thing comes to me. So when that happened, I hop out of the shower freaked out. I get in my car. I go straight to a buddy of mine who's a pastor locally. His name is Chris Hines. And I go to Chris. I'm calling him leaving my house. Right. Hey, bro, where you at? He says, I'm at the church. I said, okay. He's like, I got a band here. They're getting ready for a performance. Pull up. So I go and I pull up on him. And I said, and I'm literally, it's like I saw a ghost, because this is I've never had visions as intense. Absolutely. Yeah. It was crystal clear. So I go and I sit down with him. And just so happened, my buddy Malice from Malice and the Clips, from pushing Malice the Clips. Malice is now as most folks know, he's a gospel rapper and a Christian artist, even though he still does projects with his brother, and they got an album coming out, but he's kind of gone in that direction. So he's actually doing a performance with his band at the church, and they're rehearsing it. So I see him, hey, Malice, what's good, bro, blah, blah, because he used to be a client of mine, years back. And so we reconnect, and then I go into pastor's study, and I sit down with Chris, and he closes the door, and I just kind of throw up. I vomit on him what was in my head. Got it. And he's like, Curt, that's going to change the game. He said, I don't care what you do. Stop everything you're doing and focus on that. And I said, are you sure? He said, listen, man, that's going to be world changing. And then I said, okay. And so all of a sudden, things just started to align themselves. Again, I had a very high paying income, but I had teamed up with the lovely Cammie here and had leased a space from them for a whole separate business with my brother. And my wife and I and my brother were all partners, and we started working on this space that is now finally open, finally got the business license, all this kind of stuff. And we were doing our build out. COVID happened, slowed a lot of things up, slowed up getting, your paperwork together and so forth. So we've had this space, but paying rent and paying utilities and so forth, but couldn't really do anything. Right. So I've got that as a major expense while this concept comes. So now I'm putting money into the concept. Exactly. And then lo and behold, my Lyft driver, Nigel, who's also my right hand, who's also my close friend, had went back. He had gotten fired in Williamsburg. I said he left, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. He got fired because we weren't making any money, and at the time, because he was a little more successful than I was, because he was getting closer to deals that I wasn't even getting close. Right. I think he had got maybe one or two deals, but we were in Williamsburg, and Williamsburg is one of those places that, using the terminology, we worked on a plantation. Literally, the name of the place we worked on was named such and such and such plantation, just to give you a reality check. Yeah. So his manager was a guy from Louisiana, Caucasian gentleman. And he had different views of people that are a little bit more shaded. And Nigel being someone who, he's simmered down a lot now. But prior to this experience and our being together and his growth, he was very, true story, Nat Turner is he's a descendant of Nat Turner. Okay. So he carries that with him, that I'm a descendant of Nat Turner. My family and I from Suffolk and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And true story, he's a direct descendant. He showed me the paperwork.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
him being very, I'll use the term, defensive, volatile defensive, okay? And this guy being not so appreciative of people with darker shades, they get into a situation that was completely unnecessary and unwarranted, but because the manager felt as if he could say and use these disparaging racial comments and say these things specifically to this guy who has a, character scenario that says, hey, I don't put up with that.
Right.
So it turns into a 0 to 100 in the middle of a room, in a crowded room on a sales floor where, what did you just say? What did you call me? And all I heard was Nigel say, what did you call me? And when I looked up, I had to peel Nigel off this man.
Gosh.
The man is 3 times Nigel's size. But don't let that fool you, because sometimes people will fool you. They kind of have that honey badger complex.
Right.
And Nigel has that in droves. So when I looked up, the man was literally all black and blue that fast. And so needless to say, Nigel was considered not only fired and terminated, but unrehirable.
Wow.
In the file, they put unrehirable.
Oh, wow.
So, tell you how the universe, God, whatever y'all believe in, is obviously something bigger than all of us. But I don't want to get preachy and do all that.
Right.
I will say that when I got to Virginia Beach, Nigel was fired. He was never supposed to step foot back, not only in this business, in that building, but in the business. Because when you get into this industry, it's a very tight-knit. If you are a rock star over there, everyone's trying to recruit you, your name rings bells. This is an unknown, more so to people of color, of what this industry does. I know people right now that make $1.5 million a year in this town, working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And that's what they put on their paycheck after Uncle Sam gets his cut. Now, there's a difference between me and those folks. Those folks don't mind saying whatever to get a deal. I'm not that person. I'm going to sell you based on what I know will work for you, will help you, and benefit you. And
so
that's
you're not an attorney?
No, man. I don't stretch your imagination. No. I have a great one, though, but no. So the thing is, there's folks that don't care. And they just want to get paid, and they feel like my job is to sell whoever's in front of me, regardless if they're going to lose their house, regardless of this. And that's why the industry has such a bad rep. It's not that the product is bad. It's just the fact that the people pitching this product sometimes go through unsavory methods to get this deal. And we'll sell your grandma and lie to her and tell her, it's crazy stuff. But that's not me. And I was very fortunate to not have to do those things to be successful. And so, needless to say, when I became successful, I went to my VP and I said, hey, man, I need a favor. He says, anything for you. Because by this point, I'm extremely consistent and I'm making the company a lot of money and I'm putting a lot of money in my pocket. And he goes, so what is it? I said, man, I need a guy to get hired. He said, who? Are they half as good as you? I said, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely at least half as good as me. He said, okay, well, when can we get him? I said, hold on. It's a little bit of an issue, one little catch. He said, well, what's the catch? I said, well, the catch is he was kind of fired from Williamsburg. He said, oh, no big deal. I said, well, wait. I said, he was considered unrehirable. It's in the system. He says, is this for you? I said, yeah. He said, this is a personal favor for you. I said, yeah. He said, okay. I'll pull the strings. I'll get it done. Wow. But understand, this is a personal favor. So when I need my personal favor cashed in, just know I'm going to mention it as such. I said, say no more. Okay. And so, needless to say, they hired my buddy Nigel. By hiring Nigel, Nigel was back at the company here in Virginia Beach. I had taken a leave of absence because I was recruited by a whole other company that's bigger than the company I was working for. Right. They offered me the parachute, the this and this and that, and so forth. So when the concept of IHERO was given to me, I was no longer working with the company behind us. Right. So Nigel was there, and I get the concept. I go to my pastor buddy. It's still a concept. I called Nigel, who's my right hand. I said, bro, I got an idea. Me and my partner, G-Son, we're going to start working on this thing. He says, Curt, that's incredible. I need in. I said, bro, you in anything I do. He said, no. I need in. I don't need to be a partner. I don't need to have any equity because I ain't got no money like that. But I need to be on board. I said, bro, say no more. You're on board. He said, no. I'm gonna do something to get my weight up with you. Okay. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm at a whole other company in a training class training their new recruits.
All right.
And he calls me 2 days later. And he says, hey, I got someone I want you to talk to about your concept. Mind you, I don't even have a design. The logo is in my head. IHERO doesn't exist yet, except for in my head. He puts me on the phone with a guy who's also my partner. This guy had been in the industry 20 years. His dad and them, his family owned a few insurance companies. His dad just sold one for like 20 million. When his dad sold the company, he split that 20 million for that particular company with his 3 kids, this being one of the children. So needless to say, this guy had been in my industry making, I would say, anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000 at a minimum per year for the last 20. But then his dad just dumped on a boatload of money on him and said, here's a few million, son. I love you.
Wow.
So when that happened, Nigel calls me with him on the phone. When that happens, he's like, Curt, where you at, bro? Now, give you a background. This is a very, I'll use the word shaman-esque person. He's into his chakras. He's very much frequency of the worldly. We love everyone. He has his beads on. He walks barefoot to work. He wears no socks. He's a surfer. This is him. His name is Alex. If you go on the IHERO platform, you'll find his profile. That's him. So Alex says, bro, Nigel just told me about this phenomenal concept that you're rolling out. How much do you need? Can I put in on it?
Ooh. Look at
huh?
Look at
Mind you, I didn't pitch any investors. I didn't go. I was literally just going to use the money I had saved up because, of course, in this industry, I've made some money. And that was going to be that. Next thing I know, Nigel's put me on the phone with someone that I don't have to sell because he's watched me for the last 3 years in this industry make a name for myself. So he knows already what I'm capable of and what I do. And he and I have a good relationship because we're both very spiritual people, So it was really just hey, how much can I come to the table with? What do I need to do? Right. So we sorted it out and he was ecstatic and literally within 7 days of this phone call, I had a check. Wow. And watch this. I get the money, then the personal call comes in. VP that got Nigel the job says, hey, I know you're back at the other company. I know they offered you blah, 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 but remember that personal favor I needed? I need you back because he was going on his honeymoon he was on a world tour. And in our industry, of course, we get the best rates on flights and travel. He's flying private. I mean, he's doing all this crazy stuff. Right. So he's on an African safari, whatever. But he pulls in that personal car. Now, I wanted to say, no, man, I'm at this new spot, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But he says, listen, your manager is going to be on vacation, which was my manager when I was at the company. He said, the other manager you brought in is on maternity leave, and I'm not going to be here. So I need you back for at least a few months to keep the department rolling because the department numbers have dropped. Am I getting paid any extra? No.
Oh, wow. This is a real favor.
I told you that personal favor was going to be a personal favor. Mind you, I'm at our competitor, which is a bigger company, on the #1 team on the East Coast. No one on this team makes less than $50,000 a month.
Wow.
No one.
Wow. And we're in the wrong business, guys.
Oh, I can explain to y'all what time it is. So I'm looking at the fact that I was recruited. A friend of mine connected me with them, which is how I got the job. It's a family kind of team. The manager is best friends with one of my best friends. Like, this is just like the perfect set scenario. Okay. Right. There's no way by my second year I'm not gonna make $1 million. It's not possible. And I don't even got a lot of people because their operation is different. So I'm like, man, you want me to come back, deal with this? I got to run the show, and you're not paying me any extra, and I'm walking away from this. He says, yeah, but that's what favors are for. Okay. Call my wife. I said, honey, this is what they're doing to me. This is what's going on. And she says, well, you put your word on it. You got to go back. January 4th, I was back. So when I got back, I already had the IHERO money secure. And then shortly after, we get the layoff call. I didn't realize that what I had been given months before the pandemic in my mind was going to be so detrimental to what the world was going to need. Yeah. And that's how I knew it was like, it's never in my life had I ever had all the right scenarios come together. I've had tons of great ideas, but usually you get a great idea, you don't have the capital, especially when you look like us. Right. It's very difficult to find the capital. Right. This was the first time in my life where I had a great idea. From start to finish, the whole thing was in my head. All I needed was the time to develop. I had the capital. I had the understanding of, if I use what worked for me in this industry that most folks shy away from and don't know, because the training that I have is designed to make you go, right, honey, we ain't buying nothing when we go in here. We ain't doing a thing. We're going to hear these folks out, and we're going to smile and leave. Matter of fact, set your alarm on your phone. Set your alarm. Because they said 45 minutes, we're going to give them 46. And on that 46th minute, we're out of here. And this person has prepared and practiced their no and so forth. Right. But my training is so intense and my skills are so intense that in that world, when I flip that switch, I'm trained to make you do all of that and still walk out spending 15 to 20 to 30, 40 grand that you didn't even know you had, and spend $3,000 to $5,000 as a deposit that you really don't have. That's what my training is designed to do.
So nice to Eskimo.
So with that training, imagine that applied to something that kind of sells itself. Right. When you tap a phone with that card and people go, whoa, that's cool. Yeah. How did you do that? Yeah. They're already halfway there. But then when you talk about, well, man, you're going to get discounts in these different places. You're going to be part of a community. And more importantly, it can put additional income in your pocket if you know anyone that likes this too. So there's value there, and then it's affordable. Right. And there's no news reporters, no television shows, and no lawyers on any kind of billboard saying, if you know anyone that's bought one of these, call us so we can help you get out. You understand what I'm saying? Right, so literally, I come back, I level the room up, I get everyone in bonus, and we do what we're supposed to do, and then COVID happens. COVID happens, we're all in the house. And then I'm in the house. I'm back to work for maybe a week or two before the governor's order comes out. Now I have the capital, I have the concept, but now I have the time. Right. I spend the next 3 months where I'm in the house. I'm talking to you, but you at home too. We at home. Yeah. Right. So I really can't do my build out because the contractors don't even want to go in there because they're scared they're gonna get this micro. Right. So now I literally take my family and I go. Believe it or not, I go to Williamsburg, and I literally, because the whole thing, we're all shut down, we're in stage 1 quarantine, whatnot. So I take my family, we go to Williamsburg, and I book Williamsburg for maybe 2 weeks. The pollen got so crazy. My wife, I thought she had COVID because her allergies were going through the roof, and it was so intense because there was no action. Right. So the pollen in there was just accumulated. There was nobody outside. It was just like, it was like a carpet of pollen that you would walk in and out of. So I said, okay, this isn't going to work. But my family is afraid to be at home because they scared that the neighbor's going to have it and this one's going to have it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to book the resort. I work for the company. I get great discounts. Right. So I booked the resort here at the oceanfront. I'm on the 18th floor for the next 2.5 months. Okay. So I didn't have a job to go to. My partners are overseas. My development partner, I have a team in Romania, I have a team in India, and I have my partner in Switzerland. And then I have a few people here in Virginia, and we all Skype, Zoom, Uvu, and we get together and we code. So now my diet became Red Bull and coffee. And I wasn't eating North End Pizza, which is right around the corner, became my daughter's favorite place because I could order pizza and not get up from my computer. And I literally sat there around the clock. I would maybe sleep 2 or 3 hours a night. And then not even at night, because I was sleeping more so in the daytime because that's when the time zones are different that I'm dealing with my team. And I would literally just code and develop and code and develop and code and develop. And this thing started to come alive. And it started to take a life of its own. And the more I poured out into my head, the more stuff came into it. And then I started utilizing some of the things that I saw that my company did that was great, which was have these partnerships. You know, my company was partnered with folks to be able to offer things like a Visa card or this dinner or this or that. So I said, you know what? I need those same type of partnerships. We need to create those collaborative scenarios so that way this gives this more value.
Exactly.
So right now, as an IHERO member, not only do you have this great card,
Stop.
Oh, stop this.
Don't,
Okay,
don't,
so
don't,
sorry.
don't tell them about that yet.
Okay.
Because I want them to see
Okay.
when we do the
Oh,
actual
yes.
card
Okay.
presentation.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Real Talk. We're here with Curtis Bowmen and the crew here. We're going to go through our team. We're going to start with Aisha. Aisha, do you have anything for us today?
I do. Collectively, I have a message for everyone that's on this group. What I have from Spirit today is that we all are going through a transitional period. But what I see is success for everyone, and actually see money. So it looks like everybody on the team, we're on the come up.
Absolutely.
And then also too, I have a message for Curt, if you're able to receive it, if it's okay for me to present it to you. So what I see, and what I generally do is love readings. How I do my readings is I usually pull what's called a tarot card, and I use my intuitive knowledge. I use feelings. I use messages that I might hear in my ear, a number of different ways, and I kind of interpret a story based on what I'm hearing, feeling, seeing, all of that. And so what I have for you is a love reading. So this is for you specifically with your wife. And Spirit is telling me that you've known her in a past life. So you have past life connections, and that's what brought you all together. And because you are in a union, you know, with marriage comes ups and downs. They're letting me know that you've got some work to do. You have work to do, and they're encouraging you to do things that bring you joy, that'll bring you guys together and connect you better. So that's what I see for you. I also see money. I see you. I see more money. I see the Queen of Pentacles, which is basically letting me know that you're on the come up. So that's what I have for you.
Nice. And let's go with you, Mr. Foster. What you got for us today?
You know what, guys? Honestly, I had so many things on my mind, but it's just, again, I always preach this: be good to yourself. Go out and do something for yourself today. And in turn with that, say something good to someone. You never know; they might need to hear something good. Okay, that's all I got for now.
All right, and Mr. JBC, what you got?
Well, Cameron, you know, I always come up with something good. And what I came up with today is, all dreams can come true if you have the courage to pursue them. Agree?
Absolutely. 100%.
Elaborate just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, which means if you put in the time, you make the effort, stand consistent. You too could be a success story.
I like it. I absolutely like it.
It's all about positivity.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, well, let's see how we can use those tips for today in our upcoming week. Yeah. So we're gonna let Curtis go out for a few minutes, and then we're gonna talk about. So for you guys, I have for entertainment. I actually looked at the new movie that's on Amazon. It's about the black guy that's in love with Steve Harvey's daughter. Y'all, what's that guy's name? Anybody remember this guy's name? But anyway, I looked at it this morning on Amazon Prime, and oh my God, it was a good movie. I think it's called Without Remorse. And that is a movie that you absolutely have to see. It is just really, really good. And I think you need to bring JBZ back on. And so it's really, really good. You need to take the time to look at that movie. It starts off more down to the bottom. The one that's gray. No, next. I'm sorry, guys. Let me. It's Aisha. Sorry. There we go.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Technical difficulties today. Okay, and so it's called Without Remorse, and it's the guy, I don't remember his name, but he's the guy that's dating Steve Harvey's daughter right now. And oh my God, what's his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my gosh, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah. That movie is off the chain. You need to see it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's free if you're a Prime member. But I mean, it started off very military, you know, and I don't really like military movies, but this was very military at the beginning. The middle was very heartbreaking. And then the end, it's kind of like those movies were like Rambo or you know, something like that. I don't want to give the movie away, but I would encourage everyone to just take a look at that movie. I mean, it is great. You're going to love it. And leave a comment on our page and tell us how you like the movie, because it is great. And I think it's going to be sequels. You know, I think it's going to be sequels. And it's going to come back and it's going to be real, real good. So, and Aisha, can you give us a little more about what's going on with the with your business?
In terms of everything that's going on with
the development and the growing?
Well, I launched my business. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm sorry. I launched my business back in February, and so it's up and running now. Sorry, I wasn't ready to talk about that today.
She has great products, guys. When I tell you, go to her webpage. You will see some of the products that she has. I'm telling you, she is phenomenal. Her product, yes. Make sure you stop by. I think we have something. We have a commercial coming up for you, also.
Yeah, we have a commercial coming out, right?
Well, yes.
What is your website?
My website is www.simplyclairvoyant.com. I already have that up. I have about 6,000 spiritual products, well, over 6,000 spiritual products that are out. Anything from jewelry, self-help books, books on meditation, herbs, and a lot of other spiritual tools that I sell on that. And also will be upgrading my site to offer private readings as well. So I'm going to incorporate that in there.
Very nice, very nice. I saw a bracelet that I liked. Tell us about the healing bracelets, the bracelets you have.
The one I just advertised, well, I did a few of them, but one in particular I had is for $9.95. It was a tiger's eye bracelet. And if anyone knows anything about stones, different stones have healing. They offer healing, and they're used for different things, such as like tiger's eye help you attract money. Different stones for different reasons. So,
okay,
very, very, very good. Well, I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I'm on you in your corner, ready for you to be successful and make it happen. Because this is great. I mean, I love seeing you start from scratch all the way up to where you are now. And so I think you're doing a great job, and congratulations on your new products. And I'm ready for those tarot cards so I can see all the different designs. I'm just very excited about that. And your website is going up pretty soon too, right?
Yes, my website is already established. It's www.simplyclairvoyant.com.
Very good. Very good.
That speaks volumes in itself. Just
really,
the name.
really. So I guess we're going to end the segment right here. And then when we come back, we'll be continuing the interview with Mr. Curtis Bowmen with IHERO. And we're actually going to find out what the IHERO is and how to use the card.
Guys, it's so exciting. I
And so
can't wait till you see this.
we're very excited about that. So, and we'll tune out for now, and then we'll come back, and when Mr. Bowen's back in the studio, and we will finish up the interview.
Yes. Here we go.
Absolutely.
The red at the top.